is on here as well.
Great. Good to have you. Okay, we'll do, are we recording here in zone?
Yes, recording is in progress.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start with introductions. Curtis Lander, Sleepy County Sheriff.
Donna Wallace, District Attorney. Jess Palma, Sheriff's Office.
Jamel Villarreal, Reconnections. Jamie Russell, Sheriff's Office.
Jess Ramsey, Sleds Training. Josh McDowell, Sheriff's Office. Riley Stokes, Phoenix Wellness Center.
Lori Logger, Reconnections Counseling. Jen Metcalf, Phoenix.
Casey Miller, Board of Commissioners. I think we got a review on there, so. Really, think Alan on it.
Yeah, Alan Evans, Helping Hands.
Thank you. So just some updates, I think, as we are starting today. Any calls yet?
No.
Um,
Right here, no.
I will say, what's really cool is that, 2-3 weeks ago, when's our last meeting? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
We kind of all made this decision that like, we were gonna start December 30th and we're just gonna triage until, we get all the pieces in place. And since that meeting, we hired a deflection coordinator. We hired Shannon. And randomly, she decided today was her start date.
Yeah.
So she finished her orientation over at HR. She'll come over to my office this afternoon and we'll start getting her up to speed. But I just thought it was really cool that we had decided December 30th and then that kind of all fell into place with her today being her first day as well. So very excited.
Yeah. So some other updates. So the MOU draft with Helping Hands, then Legal's reviewed it, given us some feedback. We are working on that. There may be some insurance language we need to put in there. Specifically, since you guys are on the phone, on the line here, just the indemnity provision. So are you guys good with insurance requirements and that can provide us with that if we put that in the MOU?
Yeah, that's easy.
Okay, I figured it was. You probably have that with others. There is some discussion.
Just
Oh,
real
go ahead.
quick, we
Yeah.
just add, we meet the limits in the indemnity and we just add the group as additionally insured, basically, right? I'm sure that's it.
I'm sure that's it. Yes. Yes.
All right. Yep, we got it.
There is some discussion about the grant requirements for having a contract, depending on the dollar amount that we're working through to see. Hopefully we won't have to do an RFP. I think this is definitely a sole source argument, but we'll look at that because I don't think there's anybody else that's going to be put in for it if we do that. So
I think what'll happen in that is there will be an amount for an RFP, but there's probably a clause in there that if you have to build an RFP out, we could still provide the service until then at the rate, and then you might have to shop, but we could still move forward with it. We've had to do that before.
okay, that's great, and I really appreciate your willingness to do that. And we'll get through it. Because we have the money, so we just need to get the ability to give you the money. So at least Legal's looking at it, and we're working on that, so we'll keep you updated as we go through and probably be sending you back a draft on those things after the legal review. The other things, the citations have not arrived yet, but we checked on those this morning, and it sounds like they're going to ship by the end of this week or first of next week, so we should have them next week for sure. I guess other law enforcement's here, but us, so get those around to everybody. But so we still haven't received those. I think what we should do is probably write or send out an email to the law enforcement because there were some questions that came up in our training.
Yes.
And that's another thing. We had the training last couple of weeks. DA and I did the training. I thought it was really good. I know a few of you were there. Had a couple of them, and I thought it was good. Saw positive interaction with the law enforcement, so I think they're ready to go, but an email, because with some questions, I think PC affidavit, and some other questions got written down, so they can do that.
Any more trainings left
No,
this round or?
no, I think we'll be here. But
We did a total of 5.
do you remember how many people were on that sign-in sheet that we got?
I don't remember. I haven't got them all.
There were quite a few, but I know we missed some.
We did 2 at Newport Police Department and then 3 up in Lincoln City. And honestly, I think we got a good number
Yeah.
of people turned out. Lots of good questions. Felt like there was a few officers actually stayed afterwards and were talking about how excited they were about the program and how they thanked everyone in the work group for kind of taking the time to put this together, and they think this will be successful. And I really pitched, and I think the sheriff did too, that like if law enforcement doesn't buy into this program, then it won't be successful, and that we really need them to trust that we have been working together collaboratively to really put the best program for Lincoln County in place. And I think a lot of them, I feel like they have bought into it.
Yeah.
And we talked about picking the right person to deflect, because I think that ultimately is going to be why this program is successful, is really pinpointing the people that this program is meant to be useful to. And I will say, I actually got an email this morning about an individual that was cited by Newport. And they specifically put on the report, I think this would be an excellent deflection candidate, but the deflection program isn't up and running yet. But they made it a note in the report to kind of bring it to our attention. So
That's great.
I know, which is really, I guess, good.
Yeah.
Encouraging. That's what
It's paid off. And I think it was, I think it was good, even though it was short, going there in person and doing it and just sending out an email like, this is how you do deflection. I think they were able to ask questions. I think we're able to kind of see, our enthusiasm for the program too. And I think that,
Anything stand out as, oh, we didn't think of this, like this is.
Yeah, there was
a week or.
a couple of minor things.
Yeah.
Not too much. Yeah. I think mainly the one part that we didn't talk about is they'll have to check for sex offenses in order to take someone to helping hands.
Yeah.
And we confirmed that that's just sex offenses. So we'll put that in the email, something about PC, David, to make sure we got all those. A couple of questions came up like that, so.
Good, no, right, good.
Yeah.
I was only able to attend the last one in the city, but it was great. I had great questions. There's gonna be good buy-in.
Yeah, especially as the gain momentum as it moves too, and people say, I did this, good results, I was able to helping hands and worked out, and so I think that word will pass on too, so.
What I want to say, many years ago, when I was a PIO, I would link with DA Ovett at the time to film trainings with, I had shift change or briefings for law enforcement. One of the things that stood out to me was how much the officers want to get it right and want to understand it right. And so it's nice to see that. And having no real experience myself, being boots on the ground and all like that, really gives you some confidence that those individuals, are really, they have to interpret all of this.
Yeah.
When they're out in the field, it takes a lot of skill and training and desire too. So, cool.
I know it's law enforcement here, but the rest of them will follow you. Adam's working on getting that ACE sheet for the deflection to go on the report. So if it's a deflection, they can be able to answer the questions up in person right off the bat, so you can get a view of that.
Yeah. Hey, question on this, and if it's not appropriate for the time or you want a parking lot this, but what about someone who's in Lincoln County visiting us, but in Curry County, deflection may look totally different? Like, any ideas about when you're coming to Lincoln County?
Well, that question came out too, and we
Yeah.
think need to address, because we made that decision early on that we weren't going to turn anybody away if they weren't community county residents. But I know there are other counties that deflection only applies to if you live in that county.
Yeah.
But I know our providers are going to be the ones that are gonna kind of reach out to work on that assessment and kind of work with that individual to still get that 60 and wherever they're at, so.
And essentially, they would still be part of our deflection program because if they failed deflection, we would file the charges, right? It happened in Lincoln County. But our treatment providers essentially would find them a location where they could participate in treatment out of county.
And then Gene is, I mean, a majority of treatment providers, they can't speak for everybody, but a majority of us actually do like monthly reports to whoever referred. So once we made the connections with whoever's in Curry County that they're gonna engage with, then we could actually set up where they actually had to send a monthly report to her office, to the coordinator in her office, so that person knew exactly what they were doing on a monthly basis. And I know our systems, because we use the same one, actually print off, not just that you're, I mean, literally what you did and what your UA reports are and everything on the monthly reports. So.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I think that we could have people successful in our deflection program, even if they live locally, which is a great benefit.
Yeah, and it was interesting too, how we have that local control piece, because like I think DUI forfeiture, right? That's not something that's universal across counties. I just gotta wonder if anyone's ever lost their vehicle and been surprised, like, wow, County, they're pretty serious about this, right? Like, so, not that needs to be in the chamber's brochure when visiting the county. Might surprise someone too,
Well, we already got the saying, leave, come on vacation, leave on probation, so.
We haven't put that on the welcome sign yet, though.
So yeah, so I think we're ready to go. I think it's a reminder email that we're starting and then maybe a media release at some point.
Yeah. That would be great.
Especially for,
Yes.
And then our training is on the 9th for Red Cap. So did you see that too? So you probably want Shannon to be in there. It's at 9:00 on Thursday,
The 9th.
yeah.
Okay.
If you could forward that on to her.
Yes. I know I saw the email, but I don't know if I flagged it, so I will flag it now.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, video release, I think is gonna be great. I think there is national interest in how this is, unfolding in each jurisdiction, and I think it may really be confusing to people that it's got all these variations depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
But, I know from this group and working with you guys, how much nuance there is, and also how that's kind of hard to understand too, potentially. But I do think it will be of importance to kind of talk about that nuance, why finding the right person, how they'll fit to have the most success, and the nuance of that. So we definitely make sure to let the news understand that, like, willing to kind of get into that and explain it to them so that it's not lost, on a news report that doesn't capture it. And it actually really shows the working group too, why it's taken so many stakeholders to get it right. I think it's really a good thing that everybody should be proud of. So, of course, gotta see how it goes too, right? See what kind of adjustments, but it's a good start.
I'm sure we'll have adjustments, but just kidding. You gotta get off and running before you can. What some of those adjustments.
Sure.
For helping hands, folks, you want law enforcement to call you ahead of time before somebody arrives there? Or is it okay just to show up?
Yeah, I think some communication if possible, just so we can be ready for them, especially if it's, late in the evening, would be useful. But we can figure out how to make it work if that's not an option at that moment, but preferably, yeah.
Okay, and we have your 24/7 number now, so we can put that out in the email also as a reminder. So you guys probably have that number already.
Yeah, we do. And, we'll be making contact
Okay.
also with security provider. Nice.
call, maybe contact. Okay. And then law enforcement would love that. Okay.
Okay, so I have a question. When a call does come in and we don't have red cap, how are we collecting the data? Put in.
It's a good question. As well,
I
we
figured
don't
just write
have
it
it.
down.
Well, I would figure, yeah, that was one of the things until I actually can get into RedCap and log in, we can log into this section of RedCap. What we do for leads, my understanding is completely different than what this was gonna look like. So is there a possibility that your new employee could maybe get into RedCap? I mean, can she already get in there?
I don't know yet. I would hope so. Can you guys not get into Red Cap yet?
I can't.
Well, I can get into Red Cap because of the lead program and,
But like the deflection portion of it, we can't.
and as far
I
as
don't know that any of us have tried.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
But we haven't been trained either.
we haven't been
Red Cap is the
trained.
same, but it's a, so what I understand, it's a different module.
It's a different
log, inflection. I've never been in it.
I was assuming that we would just get all of that on Thursday morning of the night.
Tonight.
I think, if we could somehow, I mean, I'm not sure what they're asking for, because none of us have got in there.
I suggest, because they use Red Cap already, is getting their basic ethnicity, their
The
birthday,
demographics.
yes, exactly, their demographics, their name, their first name, their birthday. And then it's just like bubbles you click in, that I use, the one that I use, so that's what I would suggest, doing basic information, because they will have a citation, right? Not yet.
Yes, they're coming next week.
Yeah, so I would just say basic information.
That's
And then you can, because if you're working with them or whatever agency is working with them, they can gain more information and you can put it
And what the
in.
reason is for, what the reasoning
Yeah.
is for the. Not that, okay. So I've written something up, but I wasn't quite sure.
It has to
Because
be-
demographics, you can kind
Yeah.
of.
So how do we get the logins?
I was,
training.
I was just gonna assume that they were going to do it for us.
I'll
Great.
email Erica. Yeah, I'll email Erica and see if, like, we can get access early, even if we don't know exactly what we're doing in there, like, even if people can just get in there and look before the training, I think would probably be helpful.
Well, and I kind of thought that whatever the paperwork is, we're gonna actually be probably scanning and sending to Shannon.
Right.
So that's why I thought maybe if Shannon wanted to develop what she needed.
Yeah.
Us to be able to give her
Yeah,
to get that data right, because she's gonna need, might have been more than what we might need.
right,
So,
okay.
if she can come up with something, that would be great,
Okay,
what she wants us to fill out. Cause it might be that she gets it in red cap before we,
well, see, and I think we had discussed that at some point about who starts the case in Red Cap, and I think there was some discussion about whether or not it's the, I guess, the individual that's having contact with them through the treatment providers, or if it's the coordinator.
So I think the coordinator is gonna be the one that should put in the Red Cap. Because
just
you have
gather
to
the
get
information.
They get the information and then they give it when they scan it in.
Yeah.
Um,
Cause there's nothing that you all would need to input into Red Cap within like the first 48 to 72 hours, correct?
well, I think that, I mean, I'm gonna guess that once we get her email, like if we went out last night, and when they come into work today, they're gonna scan that in and just give it off to her, this is who I had last night.
And I
If
don't,
we have kind of a,
and I don't anticipate a problem like on a weekday. I'm thinking like if you guys have contact with someone Friday night and it doesn't get inputted by my office until Monday morning, is that a problem for treatment? And it's sounding like that's not.
No.
Okay. There's nothing that you would need to document so quickly, I guess.
and I doesn't mean that we're gonna not still offer services. We'll just, when everything gets entered in on Monday, we'll just go in there. Once she gets it in, then we would just go in and like, it's like I said, it's a little a bubble.
Michelle.
So,
Hi.
Michelle, I'm just gonna mute you really quickly because we can't hear you.
So are you guys working with Brooke on this one as well, the same as the lead program?
We're working with Erica. I'll reach out to her. I do think that it would make sense for Shannon to input all of them because then it's kind of a central, one person is doing everything. And then if she needs additional information that maybe someone forgets, right, she just reaches out versus having to go in and double check everything. So I will reach out to Erica, see if I can get some login information, how we get those, and then get Shannon started, I guess figuring out how to do that as well.
Well, and, you know,
What she will, what type
what
of
is,
information.
what specifically does she need? I mean, for leads, we actually need like the case number and, you know, the arresting officer. We don't need that. That's not anymore.
The new red cap system, that came up like, I wanna say 4 months ago, when we were talking about it with, Lieutenant Shanks.
We don't need all that anymore.
No, it's just their name, their date of birth. Was it a law enforcement contact, a behavioral health contact? It just depends on what contact it is. It's like little bubbles and you just click on it. And then the services that you provided with them. But with this one, I just don't know.
Yeah,
I can't speak on that one, but I know that it's just like, you click how many times was case management provided, how many times was peer support provided, you know, and then you put the numbers in. So with this one, I think it's basic information so that you guys have that data and prove who you're helping, who's coming here and helping the system.
So just like I know Lieutenant Shanks was creating like a face sheet for law enforcement, would it be helpful to have a face sheet for treatment providers that then you're just filling that out and sending that to the DA's office?
Oh, stuff you need.
Yeah. Like essentially a sheet to fill out to forward to the DA, or do you think a different process is better?
I think that'd be the easiest.
I think it's also, it's hard for me to speak on the cap because I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna provide treatment, that's, we provide treatment, so until we get treatment.
Just curious, do you
Yeah,
think
face sheet would be good.
do you think the information though is going to be in the deflection citation? Or you think there's missing,
Maybe,
like the demographic stuff will be in the citation?
And their birthday and their social security, their
Social security.
So the things that she's gonna wanna know are what provider is providing services.
Right.
And that, those are the kind of things that I think that we would probably, just when she, you know, goes through and looks at, oh, so-and-so, well, Lori Longer hasn't had contact in over 30 days. What provider is working with her?
Yeah.
And, you know, I need to reach out to them to see if we need to have, you know, maybe they just missed them.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or I need to go in and we need to charge this person.
Right.
And I think those are kind of probably, there's the law enforcement stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's the peer support stuff that would be more relevant to our
Okay.
data.
Okay. Maybe what I'll do is I think we're meeting next Monday. So, 8th?
We're meeting on Wednesday.
I'll bring on next week then. I'll try to have like a kind of a template of the information that I think would be helpful for us to have from treatment providers, kind of on that initial contact. And then if you guys have any feedback, we can tweak it at that point. And then I'll send that out.
And will Shannon be able to attend the meeting?
Yes. The only reason, I almost brought her over to this, but HR tells them to come back at 1 and I didn't know how to get in touch with her. So, you know.
We'll get her action.
Yes. I can send you a receipt of this from this meeting. I just put in a message.
On Wednesday, the 8th, what time?
Were you going to tell me right now?
Yes. Shannon.
What's Shannon's last name?
Heisler, Heisler.
Thank you.
So it's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Just wait for the phone to ring.
Somebody did call, I don't know who it was, but that was 3 days ago, and it was not, and John, I wasn't touching it until today.
Oh.
No. Let's do the officer.
Will you add the 24-hour number on there? Save it on there? The public accounts number?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So on this hook.
Yeah.
What?
See, that's why, only one phone ever. This is gonna be a little challenging.
I know.
Okay.
Anything else from Helping Hands, we'll probably be in touch as we go back and forth on the MOU, so.
No, I think we're good.
Okay. The next meeting is on the 8th.
Oh.
This is my last meeting.
Yeah, sad. What I show.
You can come,
You'll be back.
I'll be back, so it's all.
You're coming back.
Consultant.
Are you gonna be done? And now you're getting on a plane flying to Arizona?
We are flying on to Fort Lauderdale for a cruise on the 18th. That's our first of 4 cruises over next year. So,
Oh, hey.
Just look at Mars.
Wow.
Good for you.
Get going.
we're gonna be in Europe for just under 8 weeks. We take our second one in March, so. But we are gonna spend all February in Arizona.
Do you want me to close the meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
I think we're done.